And yes, this is Read It or Skip It. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we grab your sources, could be articles, research, maybe even your own notes, and we pull out the absolute key bits of insight for you. Think of it like the express lane to getting really clued in. We aim for surprising facts, maybe a little humor, just enough to keep you listening.
Yeah, keep it interesting.
Exactly. So today, we are diving deep into a romance novel, one that's gotten a lot of buzz. In this particular review, we looked at absolutely glowing, like a 5-star love letter.
Okay.
It's BK Borison's First Time Caller, a Baltimore romance hotline story.
Ah, I've heard good things about that one.
Right, so get ready. We're pulling out all the really enchanting stuff from this review, basically giving you the shortcut to why this story hits home for people, what makes it so charming.
Okay, so our mission today is really to get under the hood of this book. Why'd the reviewer call it dreamy, heartfelt, and downright hilarious?
That's a great combo.
It is. So we'll look at the premise, which sounds pretty unique. We'll dig into the characters, the ones readers apparently can't get out of their heads.
Yeah.
And we'll explore how love unfolds, maybe in funny ways, when, well, the whole city is kind of listening in.
Yeah, literally.
It's a really interesting take on modern romance, you know. Very public, but sounds like it feels really personal, too.
Absolutely. Okay, let's set the stage, because the premise here is just a chef's kiss, like you said. Brilliant.
Right.
So, the review starts us off with Aiden.
Sure.
He's the host, apparently quite famous, of Heartstrings. It's Baltimore's own romance hotline on the radio.
Okay, got it. Radio romance advice.
Yeah. Now you'd think, okay, a guy doing that all day, giving out love advice, he'd be totally into love himself.
You would assume so, yeah.
But that's the twist. The irony hits you right away. The review's clear. Aiden is out of love with love.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's unsure he actually believes it's still out there for him.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine that conflict?
No kidding. It's like that chef analogy in the source, right? The Michelin star chef who secretly hates food but gives out these amazing recipes.
Exactly. Recipes he doesn't even believe in anymore.
That's quite the predicament for a romance expert, isn't it? And it's not just personal angst for Aiden. The stakes are super high.
Oh.
Yeah, the review points out his boss is breathing down his neck, says he's on his case about how much they need ratings to turn around rapidly before they're in trouble.
Ah, okay. It's a job on the line.
Totally. It's not just his cynical heart at stake, it's the show, maybe his whole career. That pressure, that kind of financial worry, it just adds this layer of desperation on top of his jaded view. Perfect setup for something drastic.
That is fascinating. Okay, so let's just think about this. How do you give good love advice that sounds heartfelt, when you don't actually buy it yourself?
Right, it's a paradox.
It creates this amazing tension right from the start. And you're sitting there wondering, is he a total hypocrite? Is he just phoning it in? Or maybe there's still a little bit of hope buried deep down.
Exactly. And into this mess of cynicism and bad ratings comes the First Time Caller.
Ah, the title.
This is where it gets really charming, I think. The big moment happens when this preteen, Maya, calls the show.
A preteen. Okay.
Yeah, but she's not calling for herself. She wants dating help for her mom, Lucy.
Oh no. Kid trying to set up the parent. Classic.
Totally. Maya thinks her mom's lonely or, needs someone to sweep her off her feet, all that stuff full of potential for major embarrassment.
Right. You can just picture Aiden bracing himself.
Yeah.
Another awkward call.
But luckily, or maybe unluckily for Maya, Mom Lucy jumps in. She sweeps in before her preteen can say anything too embarrassing.
Okay, phew. Mom to the rescue.
She takes over the call, but what starts as damage control turns into something way deeper.
Yeah.
The review really highlights Lucy's confession. She's incredibly open, right there on the radio with Aiden. She just lays it out there how much she wants magic.
Right.
A happy ever after that she believes everyone deserves, including her.
That takes guts on the radio.
Yeah. And the reviewer adds this note, really emphatically. Because she does more than anything. Truly, truly, truly.
Oh, wow. You feel that.
You do. That phrase tells you everything. This is the heart of it, the raw vulnerability, but also this incredible hope. It makes you root for her instantly.
Absolutely. That kind of raw honesty just broadcast out there for anyone listening in Baltimore, that's what really kicks the story off, isn't it?
Precisely. It stops being just another call-in show segment. It becomes this moment of, public connection, but it's deeply personal.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding a date anymore. It's about her claiming this really human need for joy, for partnership, and it makes Lucy stand out immediately. She's not afraid to say what she wants, even to a stranger on the radio.
And what a connection it sparks. The sources say sparks started that night over the radio ignite into something Aiden and Lucy respectively aren't expecting.
Ah, okay, so it's mutual.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
It's this public start to something really private.
Yeah.
Kind of like a modern fairy tale, but with radio waves instead of, glass slippers.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And the story builds on that spark pretty quickly in a really fun way. So Lucy, who the review mentions is a mechanic, which I love,
Oh, cool detail. Practical.
adds this nice layer. She gets invited onto Heartstrings to actually find her match.
So like a dating show segment.
Basically, it throws her into the spotlight beneath a wide and wonderful Baltimore. The whole city gets invested in her finding love.
Okay, that's a great setup.
But the twist is, the host, Aiden, is the one she's secretly clicking with. It definitely raises questions about, performing for the public versus what's real underneath.
And this sounds like where the humor and charm really kick in. Because Aiden's right there with her through this whole public search thing.
Right.
The review says he's carefully treading a line between flirty banter and genuine rapport. They become partners in her dating journey.
Partners in crime, almost.
Yeah, it sounds like this great dynamic. Hilarious, probably. They're looking for love for her, supposedly, but you just know something's building between them.
Oh, for sure. You can imagine the inside jokes, the shared looks when a date goes bad.
Totally. That slow burn, but playing out with an audience.
Well, what's really fascinating there is, how does that public search mix with this private connection that's growing?
Yeah, good question.
It creates this unique tension, right? Lucy's going on these dates, and the review implies some are pretty bad.
One too many dates gone awry, I think it said.
Exactly. But the person who gets it, the one who understands how vulnerable and kind of ridiculous it all is Aiden. The one holding her hand through it, sometimes literally.
Oh.
So it lets the author explore authenticity versus perception, what you show the world versus who you are when the mic's off. And the reviewer suggests this makes their eventual connection feel more real, more earned. It grows from shared experience, not just curated moments.
And speaking of connection, the characters themselves sound like the real stars here. The review says Lucy is this lovably complex character that has been living rent-free in my head since I first read her POV.
High praise.
Totally. So even though she has these bad dates, feels kind of hopeless sometimes about finding that magic. She finds herself drawn to Aiden, the person holding her hand through it all.
Makes sense.
Her resilience, her hope, even when things go wrong,
Yeah.
it makes her relatable. She's not perfect, she's real. Sounds like that's why readers connect with her.
And Aiden isn't just some flat, cynical guy either. The review mentions Aiden has his own struggles with love and getting close to people from past unresolved trauma, a heaviness he carries alone.
Okay, so he's got depth too, baggage.
Exactly. It's not just a simple meet cute. It's two people with their own histories, their own wounds, finding their way to each other. And his trauma isn't just like a plot point. It's a real barrier he has to work through. It adds a lot of emotional weight.
Makes his opening up later feel more significant, probably.
For sure.
And it sounds like it's the small things that make their bond feel real, especially given how public it starts. He's described as the reserved, handsome man in headphones who dances with her and gets along with her unconventional family unit. That picture tells you a lot, Tri.
Yeah.
He's not just the radio voice. He's becoming part of her actual life, embracing her world, her quirky family.
Yeah, those little moments are key. When you see someone step out of their comfort zone for the other person.
That's what makes you really root for them.
And if you connect this back to the bigger picture like the reviewer does, it's really about two people finding this unexpected comfort, this connection, despite their own issues and despite being in the public eye. It kind of shows how vulnerability, even when it's broadcast out there, can actually build something really authentic.
Interesting take.
Yeah, like sometimes being open about what you want and fear, even to strangers, can somehow lead to the most genuine connections privately. It flips that idea that public life is always fake. Here, it sort of enables the truth.
And it's not just about them. What's really cool is how the community gets involved. The review says it's the whole of the city rooting for the hosts they listen to as they fell in love on the radio.
Oh, that's lovely.
Isn't it? Imagine the buzz. Everyone tuning in, talking about it, cheering them on. It adds this whole layer of warmth, makes it feel bigger than just two people.
It really broadens the story, and the reviewer picks up on that, calling it a true ode to love, Baltimore, and the ways some families can look different but are just as beautifully made.
Nice.
So it celebrates the city itself, gives it character, and it celebrates different kinds of families, different kinds of love. It's not just romantic love, it sounds like.
And get this, for anyone who loves a good ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Even the side characters are apparently super memorable. The reviewer raves about Patty, Gray, Tio, and Jackson. Even hints they might show up in the next Heartstrings book.
Oh, okay, so the world feels really lived in.
Exactly. That's always a good sign, right? When you want more from the side characters.
Definitely.
And of course, it sounds like it builds to a big finish. The review says it takes a grand gesture of commitment to show Lucy and Aiden that a love-like magic really is out there.
The grand gesture. Gotta happen sometimes.
You just know it's going to be satisfying. A real payoff for everything they went through, public and private.
And the reviewer's own reaction really drives home how much the story connects. They said, "I'm not ashamed to say that some of her chapters made me tear up a little. I just wanted the world for her."
Oh, that says a lot about Lucy.
It really does. And about Aiden, despite his issues, they said he never failed to make me grin. So you get the whole emotional spectrum, tears and smiles. That's a sign of characters you really end up caring about.
It sounds incredibly moving. And the reviewer makes this huge comparison. They say, this felt like reading Love Light Farms for the first time, like falling in love all over again.
Wow, okay. That is high praise in the romance world. That feeling is what readers are always chasing.
Right. But the line that really stuck with me was more personal. They said, a book that found me when I needed it the most, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It suggests the book isn't just fun, it offers something deeper. Comfort, maybe? Hope.
That really brings up an interesting point for us, doesn't it? What is it about some stories? How can they find you like that and make you feel like you're falling in love all over again?
Yeah.
It really speaks to the power of storytelling, right? When characters feel that real and the themes hit something deep inside you, even if your life is nothing like being on a romance hotline. This book, this flawlessly eloquent 5-star love letter to love, clearly did that for the reviewer. It wasn't just a good read, it was something more personal, almost transformative. It reminds you that the best stories aren't just read, you feel them.
And that, everyone, wraps up our deep dive into First Time Caller, a Baltimore romance hotline story by BK Borison. Based on this review, it's a story where a pretty cynical radio host and this really hopeful single mom find something magical against the odds, proving that sometimes, yeah, the biggest love stories can happen right out in the open, but still feel incredibly personal. Touching a whole city, and definitely touching this one reviewer, it really champions the idea that connection can spark anywhere, even in the weirdest spotlights.
So the question for you to think about is, what does this all mean? How does putting Aiden and Lucy's relationship out there on the radio actually make their private connection feel more real, more authentic?
Interesting angle.
And what does that tell us about how we see romance today? You know, in a world where so much is shared publicly anyway, it's definitely something to chew on, a testament to love finding its way, no matter the setting.
And yes, this is read it or skip it.